The city was a labyrinth of shadows and neon. Towering skyscrapers clawed at the twilight sky. A perpetual drizzle painted the streets in a slick, shimmering sheen. This was Arcadia, a metropolis that pulsed with a melancholic rhythm. Even the air hummed with unspoken longing and a quiet despair. The citizens of Arcadia were no strangers to this oppressive atmosphere. They moved through life like phantoms, their faces etched with a weary acceptance of their shadowed existence. The weight of their burdens was palpable, a collective sigh that seemed to rise from the very pavement beneath their feet. Within the heart of this city, two souls, adrift in their own personal twilights, were about to collide. Their story, a poignant melody of love found and lost, would soon become another layer of heartache woven into the fabric of Arcadia. They were destined to learn that even in the darkest depths, love could bloom, but its petals were often stained with tears. Her name was Sakura, as delicate as the cherry blossoms that once graced the city's gardens. He was Kenzo, strong in name but with a storm raging within. They met by chance under the neon lights of a ramen stall. He was drawn to her quiet grace. She saw in him a kindred spirit. Their conversations were hesitant, filled with awkward silences. They spoke of books, dreams, and Arcadia's melancholy beauty. With each glance and laugh, a bond formed. Their hearts, long cold, felt warmth. They found solace in shared loneliness. Two halves of a broken whole seeking refuge. Their connection, a delicate blossom, threatened to wilt. As days turned into weeks, their bond deepened. They wandered the neon-drenched streets, their hands brushing, fingers intertwining for fleeting moments before pulling away. Stolen kisses tasted of rain and hope, their laughter echoing through the concrete canyons like wind chimes in a storm. But amidst the burgeoning love, a seed of doubt had been sown. Kenzo, haunted by a past he couldn't outrun, retreated further into himself. His smiles became strained, his laughter hollow. He pushed Sakura away, the fear of hurting her with his darkness a constant weight on his soul. Sakura, attuned to his every shift in mood, felt a growing unease. The whispers of doubt grew louder, fueled by Kenzo's evasiveness and Sakura's own insecurities. The once comforting silence between them now crackled with unspoken anxieties. They were like ships passing in the night, their lights signaling a desperate plea for recognition. Yet they drifted further apart with each passing moment. The city, once a backdrop to their budding romance, now seemed to mirror their growing turmoil. The rain fell heavier, the neon signs flickered more erratically, and the shadows seemed to stretch further, threatening to engulf their fragile happiness entirely. The inevitable confrontation took place on a bridge overlooking the artificial river that snaked through the city's underbelly. The water, polluted and murky, reflected the storm clouds gathering overhead. It was a fitting backdrop for the tempest brewing between them. Kenzo, unable to bear the weight of his secret any longer, confessed his past. His voice a broken whisper against the drone of the city. He spoke of a love lost, a tragedy that had left him shattered and afraid to love again. Sakura listened, her heart breaking with each word. The truth, spoken aloud, hung between them, a spectre that threatened to extinguish the flickering flame of their love. Tears streamed down her face, reflecting the city lights in a kaleidoscope of pain. She had seen his pain, felt the echoes of it in his touch, in his silences. Yet a part of her had clung to the hope that her love could be his redemption. Now, faced with the raw vulnerability of his confession, she realized the futility of that hope. The walk back to Sakura's apartment was a blur. Neither spoke. The weight of Kenzo's confession hung between them, a chasm too wide to bridge. At her doorstep he reached out, his fingers brushing against hers. She flinched at his touch, the warmth that had once comforted her now a searing reminder of their shattered dreams. "I understand," she whispered, her voice brittle. "I need some time." He nodded, unable to meet her gaze. He wanted to say something, anything to erase the pain he saw in her eyes. But words failed him. He turned and walked away, melting into the anonymous crowd, his heart a lead weight in his chest. She watched him go, her tears flowing freely now. The rain had stopped, but the city felt colder, the lights harsher. The world had tilted on its axis, leaving her stranded in a desolate landscape of her own making. The days that followed were a blur of emptiness. Sakura moved through life in a daze, the vibrant colours of Arcadia now muted shades of grey. Memories of their time together haunted her. His laughter, the warmth of his hand in hers, the echo of his kisses. Each memory, once a source of joy, now felt like a shard of glass piercing her heart. She avoided the places they had frequented, the ramen stall, the bridge, the park where they had shared their first kiss. These locations, once imbued with the magic of their love, now felt like crime scenes, each corner holding a painful memory. Kenzo, too, was lost in his own private purgatory. The guilt and regret gnawed at him, amplifying the pain of his past. He had pushed her away, fearing he would only bring her sorrow. Now he realized the depth of his mistake. He had lost her, and in doing so he had condemned himself to a lifetime of solitude. One evening, as Sakura sat by her window, watching the rain paint streaks down the glass, she noticed a small package on her doorstep. It was a gift from Kenzo, a collection of her favourite poems, the pages filled with his handwritten annotations. As she read his words, she felt a glimmer of understanding. He had loved her, deeply and truly. His past had not diminished his capacity for love, it had only made him afraid to embrace it. Tears streamed down her face, but this time they were not tears of pain, but of bittersweet acceptance. She would always carry the scars of their love, but she realized that even in the wreckage of heartbreak, something beautiful could remain. She stepped out onto her balcony, drawing in a deep breath of the rain-washed air. The city, still shrouded in its perpetual twilight, seemed a little less bleak, the neon lights a little less harsh. She had lost him, but she had found a piece of herself in the process. Their love story, born in the shadows of Arcadia, might not have had a fairy tale ending, but it had taught them both the true meaning of love, loss, and the enduring power of the human heart to find solace even in the darkest of times.